Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Gus Johnson controversy. If you don't know who Gus Johnson is, he's a big YouTuber who does sketch comedy, and I think he's a pretty funny guy, and I think he's definitely one of the funnier YouTubers out there. And also, he had a pretty clean image, and from what I know, he was never part of any controversy in the past, and a lot of people thought of him as a really good dude, and they thought he was respectful and caring, and I just don't think many people expected him to be a part of any serious controversy. But around 2 months ago, his ex-girlfriend uploaded a really emotional video to her YouTube channel about an ectopic pregnancy that she had, and she talked about how difficult that time was for her. She said she was in a ton of pain, she didn't know what was going to happen, she didn't have much support, and it just sounded like it was a complete nightmare for her, and it really traumatized her. And I recommend going to watch her video if you haven't seen it yet, just so you can understand the whole situation and hear what she experienced. But the story she told just sounds like something you wouldn't want your worst enemy to go through. Like, this is obviously something that's going to affect her for the rest of her life, and she's going to be dealing with a lot of pain from it. So in her video, she talked about how when she realized she was pregnant, she was kind of leaning towards having an abortion. She said she wasn't really ready to have a kid at the time, but she wasn't 100% set on that decision, and she still wanted to take some time to think about it. But her boyfriend at the time didn't even want to give that consideration and basically just said, "We're not having the kid," and that's it. And in her video, she never actually gave her boyfriend's name. She always referred to him as ex-boyfriend, but obviously everyone knows who she dated, so everyone automatically just thought of Gus Johnson. And her video definitely wasn't made just to call out her ex-boyfriend. Like, it was mostly criticizing the American healthcare system and insurance companies. It seemed like she made the video more to help people understand what she went through and how other people are going through the same thing and what people are dealing with these kind of pregnancies. And if you watched her video and you didn't know who her boyfriend was or didn't know he was anybody relevant, then after the video, you'd probably be like, yeah, her boyfriend's an asshole, but that wouldn't be something you're focused on. You'd be like, oh, this girl went through something terrible, and the American healthcare system, that's a big problem, and insurance companies are a problem. Like, you wouldn't be focused on her boyfriend. So she definitely didn't make this video just to stir up drama or like cause some problems in her boyfriend's life. I think she just made this to tell her experience, basically. But she also did obviously criticize her boyfriend in the video, and another problem she had with him is when she was going to the doctors during all this, she said he really wasn't there for her most of the time. Like, one of the times she described, she said she's in a lot of pain and she's really worried, and she asked him if he could take her to the doctors, and he said he was busy making a video, and then he had to go out for drinks with his boys afterwards. And then she also said after she had the surgery done to basically save her life, she was still obviously in a lot of pain and she was traumatized by the whole experience, and she says her boyfriend just continued to treat her like shit and he really wasn't there for her, and he was telling her that most boyfriends would have dumped her by now. And also, I forgot to mention, during her whole pregnancy, I think she said she was like scared to tell her parents or tell anybody really, so her boyfriend was really the only one that knew and the only person there that could support her. So like I said, she didn't make this video just to make her boyfriend look like a piece of shit, but it obviously did make her boyfriend look like a piece of shit. And when her video first came out, people weren't 100% sure she was talking about Gus Johnson, but they were pretty certain. And then eventually Gus just addressed it, so it showed it was him, obviously. And the way his girlfriend talked about him in her video, she obviously didn't paint him to be the best person, and he definitely sounded like an asshole in that situation. But it's not something that would cancel somebody for like years. It's not something where you're like, damn, their career might be over from this. But it definitely did shatter a lot of people's perception of him because he had such a good reputation, and a lot of people thought he's really sensitive to these issues. So I think a lot of people were expecting a really thoughtful response from him, and they wanted to see him prove that he knows what he did was wrong and he's changed and he's trying to make himself a better person and he accepts responsibility for what he did. And when it comes to things like being canceled or going through any controversy like this, it's pretty interesting because almost everyone's different. Like, some other creators, something like this could happen to them and they could possibly get by it. Like James Charles, that dude, I don't know if anything's going to take him down. So it's hard to tell exactly what you need to do to make sure your fans still think you're a good person and they still want to watch you and support you. And there's no specific way to handle these things. There's no like set of guidelines you need to follow. Like, if Gus Johnson wanted to, he could come out the next day and post a video. Like, nothing was stopping him. But obviously doing that would upset a lot of people, and that'd be a bad move. Like, he wants to do what he can to prove that he's sorry first and prove that he's going to change, or he has changed, and show that he knows what he did was wrong and he screwed up big time, and he's trying to make himself a better person now. And his way of proving all this was to just post a message to Twitter. And I don't think this is really what people wanted from him. I think people were looking for a video from him, possibly just addressing everything and taking accountability. Because before this, he had such a good reputation. Everyone thought he's a great guy. They had a lot of respect for him, and they thought he's very respectful towards women, and he was very caring. Like, he's made multiple videos criticizing Chris Brown. He was very hard on him. In one of his videos, at the end, he's criticizing Lil Dicky, the rapper, because he worked with Chris Brown, and he said, like, he doesn't respect him for that. And a lot of his fans, or some of his fans at least, I saw, they said they stopped listening to Lil Dicky just because he associated with Chris Brown. And obviously what Chris Brown did is a lot worse than what Gus did, but they're still both like terrible things that they did to women. So it's not a good look at all for Gus, because people expected a lot more from him. So when he posted this Twitter message, I think there are mixed opinions on it, and I'll just read it here really quick. So he said, "I'm aware of a recent video that calls out some of my actions that I'm not proud of, and I want to apologize. The circumstances were extremely hard and complicated for both of us, but I can't even begin to imagine how difficult it was for her. We were young and not remotely prepared to deal with all the realities of a long-lasting and traumatic medical situation. During the talks, counseling, and therapy we went through together following this time, I came to grips with my behavior and recognized my shortcomings, and I would like her to know just how deeply sorry I am. I fully realize what I did was wrong and wish I could change how I responded and acted during that time. I've grown a great deal since that happened, and I wish I knew what I know now. I will continue to grow and learn and strive to be a better person every day. At this time, I'm stepping away from the podcast, and the remainder of this year's live shows will be canceled with full refunds being issued. I will also be taking some time off from posting and working for a while." So I mean, most apologies after some controversy like this or someone being canceled are pretty bad, and this one's right there with him. Like, this is just a pretty generic apology, and I think people expected more from him, but I'm not totally sure what people wanted. Like, I'm not a big fan of this guy. Like, I obviously think he's funny and everything, but I'm not somebody who is like a diehard fan that was like really affected by this. And what made things even worse for him is right after he posted this, his ex-girlfriend posted this to Twitter. She said, "I won't accept a misleading apology with lies in it. I don't forgive you." So I'd say that apology might have made things even worse for him, because the fact that she said that, like, that does not make him look very good. Like, if he had posted a better apology and she accepted it, then I'd say he'd be in decent shape, and if he just waited out a little longer, then he'd probably come back and not really have that big of a problem. But instead, he handled this situation so poorly. Like, he did everything I'd say you shouldn't do in situations like this. Like, he took, I think, a month off, which, I mean, obviously there's no set time frame you take off. Like, after you get canceled, who knows how long is enough time, but a month, that doesn't really seem like long enough. Like, if I were his PR manager or something, I would tell him to wait longer. And then also the video he came back with made things so much worse, and the way he handled the criticism made things a lot worse too. So like I said, he took a month off, and then he posted this video, which is a little tone deaf considering everything that just happened. The video is about like a kid in middle school or elementary school who gets hurt during gym class and is like exaggerating his injury and trying to get attention and stuff. And I thought the video was pretty funny if you take out like everything that's going on with him right now, but this is definitely not the video you want to come back with, considering it could look like you're trying to say that your ex-girlfriend might have been exaggerating what she was going through. And I don't think this is what Gus was trying to say. I mean, at least I hope it wasn't. But obviously he should have known better, and I don't know how he didn't realize how bad this would look. And also, this was like right after they disabled the YouTube dislikes, so people were like, of course he's coming back once he can't see the dislikes, because this video ended up getting dislike bombed. Like, right away when he posted it, it wasn't doing too bad. People seemed like they were okay with it, but then eventually people started turning on him. I don't know if it was because of the way he handled the criticism that people had, or people just slowly realized how bad this looked. But now I think it's got like 30,000 likes and 20,000 dislikes or something like that. And in his Twitter comments, he's just getting destroyed. This person said, "I'm going to be honest, I don't think this was the video to return on Gus." And then Gus blocked him, which is something you do not want to do. Like, you do not want to block people who are giving you criticism. I feel like everything Gus could have done wrong here, he did. Like, this is not the way you want to handle getting canceled. And here's another tweet where I think this ratioed his original tweet. This person said, "Bro, you came back with a video talking about people's exaggerated medical conditions. This was not the one to come back on, bud." And then of course he got blocked. So Gus is not doing himself any favors here by blocking people. It just makes him look even worse. So here's another tweet that shows how people's perceptions of him have changed since then. This person said, "A big part of Gus Johnson's brand was strongly criticizing men who are misogynistic and abusive. I mean, he's the reason I stopped listening to Lil Dicky because he worked with Chris Brown. So it's very confusing to see people defending him by complaining about cancel culture now. Like, a big part of his brand was being very much in favor of cancel culture." He also specifically said that if he ever does something shitty, he doesn't want people blindly defending him. He wants us to hold him accountable, but now he's blocking everyone. So, I mean, this guy really screwed things up for himself. It's not like these are all just trolls coming here to post comments and trying to bring him down. Like, these are actual fans, I'm pretty sure. Like, these are people that used to look up to him and think really highly of him, and now they're just really disappointed. And it's probably going to be hard for him to come back after this. Here's just one more tweet I want to show. This is a verified person. They said, "Been loving your videos for years and was always really stoked to see a fellow Wisconsinite succeed at the level you have. But I'm disappointed in the way you're choosing to deal with this, and it doesn't seem like there was even much of a break to truly better yourself." So, I mean, I'm sure you guys get the point by now. Like, people should look at this as what not to do when you get canceled, honestly. Like, what his girlfriend exposed about him, it wasn't like career-ending shit. But now, since the way he's handled it, it's going to be tough for him to come back, and people really have a negative image of him now. So to wrap up the video, I just want to play this curb meme that someone made of him. Maybe you guys saw this already, but this shit is just hilarious.
If you guys want to make sure I stay honest, well, my career is over.
Oh, that's a really bad one.
That's how confident I am in myself.
Alright, so obviously that did not age well at all, and it's hilarious that he actually said this shit. So that's about it for this video. Make sure you hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this whole situation, and then hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.